Welcome to Running It Back, Season 4. It's happening. Tarlin, how are you doing?
This is the third time that you've tried to bring in the start of the show. We're a little out of practice.
Practice?
We talking about practice? Not you, professional Potter. I always appreciate you allowing me to be on this show with you. I had to dust off the Yeti mic,
Yeah.
remember how to plug it into the computer, but now you have us into some really advanced system called Squadcast.
Squadcast. We're a squad. This is our podcast, Squadcast.
And we're casting. And death to Zoom.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, you're a little angry at the new privacy policy because you did not want to train Zoom's AI models.
I let Zoom know we're seeing other platforms. Yeah.
Go. No response. Still, as I said, I'm still a deep believer. I'm just trying to hold on to all my COVID stocks. They're gonna bounce back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never sell. Play the long game. It's good to be here. We ultimately are going to be talking about must-see TV, must-see athletes. It was born out of an experience going to a concert. Some will say the biggest concert this summer, biggest concert of many people's lifetimes.
And allow me to interject. You may be attending another concert, which also is kind of must-see. This is almost like the must-see concert experience episode. You're also, I believe, seeing Beyoncé tonight.
I'm in the Bayhive tonight, SoFi. So I did get a chance to experience the Swiftie. So I'm going to tell my concert story quick, and then we'll jump in.
There'll be a clever transition.
You always figure out how to bridge. Yeah. There'll be some weird joke about how bad the Mets are, something.
Season 4, what's up?
What's up? And we will at some point grade our season 3 equivalent of bad, third movies when they should let the franchise die. We're not letting this franchise die.
No.
Because we're only springboarding off the learnings that we had. And we just went dark for periods of time.
Yeah. We might bring in a little bit of Giannis talking about failure to talk about how we didn't fail in season 3.
Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me? No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why are you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports.
We learned.
Yeah, we learned.
So my Taylor Swift experience, last minute, my wife got tickets to see Taylor Swift concert. Girls, when I asked my daughters, are they into Taylor Swift? They sort of like, yeah, it'd be cool. Go. They're excited. Definitely excited.
Yeah.
When you get in the concert and you're actually there, they know every word. They're freaking out. They know every word. I don't know what to expect. Now, I probably heard 4 or 5 or more songs because you're driving, girls in the car. I might have one Father's Day as I was getting into a back and forth with the girls that are younger about whether I can have a bikini or this or that. I might have rewritten Taylor Swift's song Me to the words, and the title was Daddy. And we wrote the whole song and sang it to them on Father's Day morning. That's a lot of listening to one Taylor Swift song.
Wow, so you did your prep.
Oh, that's deep. So I was looking for that one song, which Maya's like, oh, they cut that song. It's controversial. I'm like, okay, one song I know. I show up and my daughter said, you look like you're going to work. I didn't know about the pink and the sequins and the cowboy hats and all that. I was
just some khakis or.
I was jeans. It was like a gray jeans.
You're dressed like a dad. You're fine.
A button down, tucked out. With some Nike dunks. I mean, come on.
Right.
So go through the concert. She's a force. 44, 45 songs, 3.5 hours. It's just nonstop.
Yeah.
I'm standing there, I might have my arms crossed at times. I'm sitting next to a young lady and her friend. And at one point I leave, and near the end of the night, she leans over to my older daughter and says, it looks like your dad's having an interesting time.
Right. Well, I believe if I heard right, you were taking notes for the podcast.
Well,
so part of the experience.
Yeah, part of the experience. I might have crossed arms, song ends, and I clap. I was like clapping for the experience. I was spending the whole time just looking at the phenomenon, looking at the bracelets that we're wearing, where everyone's bracelet would light up at the same time. So I was thinking about the business that
were you wearing the GoPro or not? You did not have the GoPro on, is that right?
They actually, when they patted me down,
confiscated it,
I
yes.
forgot to bring my clear bag. So they
Yes.
took my Merce and they had to put it somewhere else, and that my GoPro was in there. My
Okay.
side, the
Yeah.
side
We're
satchel
gonna
that
have
you
to
wear.
you're gonna have to help us imagine it.
I'll help you imagine. So sitting there, LED lights on everyone's bracelets. I'm looking at this. Everyone knows the songs.
Is this
It is
also at
at
SoFi?
SoFi. It's so loud, and I've been there
And I
for
hear it's at SoFi, and both Taylor Swift and Beyoncé are so fly.
see, you just, I really do think, and we don't really know what we're talking. We just said, Taylor, that you write this. Do you write this
It's all
down?
on Post-its on my monitor.
I
You
think
don't
you're
need to see
staring
that.
at. I
You
think
don't
you're
need to see
staring.
that.
The fans want to see it at some
Check.
point.
Throw that one up. That one's done.
And so I started writing because I'd just never experiencing anything, never experienced a musician, a piece of entertainment like this. And I just started writing, like, what is must see TV and sports?
And just to
Where
be
would
clear,
you?
you're writing, you have your laptop open on your lap?
No laptop, but
Okay.
I'm on my phone the whole time.
You're thumbing it
O-
out. Yeah.
Open up the notes section. I'm thumbing it out while this concert's going on, while
Uh-huh.
people are screaming. The decibel level is so high.
Right.
That's what I was doing. I was thinking about this show. I was thinking about running it back. And that's when, from the concert, I then texted you and said, I think this is what we should cover next. As we're in a little bit of an interesting period. We had the World Cup, and unfortunate for US women not to win the World Cup. We
Yeah.
have the Messi phenomenon.
Yeah.
Randomly, I'm watching a tournament that I'm like, I actually didn't know until the last game, like, what tournament is this that Messi and Inter Miami are about to win?
Right.
We have, I'm sure you've done the 50 mock drafts like me that I've done as I'm prepping for
Football.
fantasy.
There's a new Hard Knocks season.
I've watched zero of it, but
I watched Quarterback on Netflix.
I did watch quarterbacks. We got a lot of stuff going on, but I wanted to focus, if possible, on running it back to major athletes, major sports moments, and people that you sort of must see that you to drop and have a similar impact as Taylor Swift. Is there any athlete like her out there?
And the other thing that's happening when you talk about must-see TV is that Spectrum, Charter, and Disney and its properties, they're not getting along so well, and they're taking that out on the kids. So it's not like I can watch television now. It's not like I could be distracted by the US Open, for example. It's not like I could be watching some college football on ESPN. No. As a Spectrum user, I get to understand why they're not getting along and how they really should come to the table and renegotiate, that's why I subscribe to cable television. So I am absolutely interested in the must-see experience. And the interesting thing is it's also the experience of seeing the performer in person, which is the other thing where it's not watching from home. You have to be in the room where it happens.
Shout out to Hamilton.
Yes, Lin-Manuel Miranda. And so I believe you started a list, right?
I did start a list, but I want to go back to Spectrum real quick because what you're calling out, you have 2 non-cord cutters here. So
right. I was embarrassed to bring it up to you because I was like, I can't believe this actually affected me.
I haven't gone yet. I still have family still likes watching certain shows, but now I feel like a total chump.
Yeah.
And I just got the Spectrum bill. I just called them because I'm like, I pay enough for
I'm out.
my speed with my Wi-Fi. What's going on? It's, oh, you mean, let's send you a new box, see if that works. Okay, let me see if I can fix my issue today.
Yeah. I mean, well, you're like, do you understand? I just attended a Taylor Swift concert, and the way she thinks about me is, you could learn a lot from Taylor Swift. Spectrum, Charter, Disney.
So Taylor Swift,
Bob Iger. Come on, get your act together.
Let's just make sure we know. I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm a huge fan of what she's done. People can go back and learn about the controversy she had when her catalog was bought, and Scooter Braun is also Shamrock, and she's re-recording.
Apparently, Kanye is in fact letting her finish now.
So the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, covering her 17 years as a musician, is expected to top over $1 billion for just her run in America. She's extended the tour. She has a concert film being released in theaters October 13th that is already sold out as the top pre-sales ever, $26
Is
million.
she up there with the B word, the Beatles? Is she like she's up there with the Beatles and Elvis, right? Like if you start thinking
For
about
this generation, absolutely.
yeah.
100%. It's a 3-hour movie. So for those who went to the concert, they're going to pay to go watch parts of the concert and be backstage in the movie theater. And then she's going to extend this tour is going to extend through August or fall of 2024.
You're acting like I don't know this stuff,
we all-
Tarlin. I mean, come on. As the
well,
father of a
uh,
4-year-old boy, I am still not consumed by, but it's gonna still get him. I don't think there's any escaping the power of the Taylor.
it'll get them. It's supposed to, when it's all over, hit 2.2 billion, probably gross 2.2 billion. But it's not just the fans that love it. There's a cottage industry that's been born out of sharing friendship bracelets. People are spending upwards of $1,300 not only on tickets, but also on swag and just repair the costumes and what they're going to wear to the concert. I was just told, I guess my whole family's been talking about what they're going to wear for the concert
Right.
tonight. And they're like, oh, yeah, do you have anything that's silver? I'm like, do you think you would like to let me know that everyone's prepping?
Right.
They're going to wear the shirt.
Maybe for season 4, we might need a silver fanny pack of some kind, running it back.
Done.
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah,
guy on
yeah.
call. He's Keith, seriously. Zinc. It's a fantastic swag. We just use them for our company.
Oh, really?
It's a shout
Nice.
out. So it's not only the people that are enjoying the experience, she's an economy unto herself.
Mhm.
She's impacting the cities that she's going into. So Glendale, Arizona, it is the site of Super Bowl. They brought in more business in the small businesses in Glendale, Arizona around the Taylor Swift concert than for any Super Bowl. Governors, prime ministers, mayors are chasing her. When Taylor Swift went to Nashville, became a holiday. Trudeau in Canada is dying, really wants her to come up into Canada. So she is a massive force. That some likened it to what's happening right now. It's like she's her own Marvel Cinematic Universe, all wrapped up into
I was
one.
immediately going to Jordan in the 90s. You know,
So now I'm teeing you up. I gave you 4 weeks to think about who you think is must see because I've never experienced anything like it. So I was just trying to think through. And granted, this is sustained tour, but you mentioned being in person versus TV. But when have you ever, whether I got to buy that ticket or someone's about to play, when have you stopped and said, I have to turn on the TV. I can't miss this moment. And that's what it's like for folks who are spending unbelievable amount of money in a tough economy in order to go see Taylor Swift. And they said 91% said they'd do it again. They'd pay to go see her again. So I'm opening the floor to you. You had a 4-week warm call to see, because you called me the prepper.
And I'm a
What
big
do you got?
believer in subconscious prep. So even if I have not necessarily been doing formal research, I've been chewing on this. But yes, to me, I immediately go to Jordan because I also think Jordan in the 90s was pretty similar to Taylor Swift in the 2020s, where the one personality who is kind of the center of it all. And, it's interesting to think about The Last Dance as what he made now, whereas, I think Taylor Swift is making The Last Dance while she's still dancing. Like she's thinking the multimedia and her shelf life's going to be a lot longer than an athlete. So it'll be interesting to see the iterations and what she does with her business moving forward. But it is also, Jordan thought of himself as a brand and a business. So I feel like he probably set some foundation there as a sports figure. And then if you think about Jordan, you got to go back to Ali.
So pause on that. I give you the Jordan, especially the 1996 team. They were like the Beatles. Wherever city they went into, fans flocked to their hotels. There was no load management. And so that team leading up to that championship, that was an extended eras tour. And it's hard to compare for the economy. That's hard.
His
but
commercial interests as an athlete were very central to everything he was doing. Republicans buy sneakers too. And, the Jordan movie and, the Spike Lee commercials, like he was doing that from an early age. Like he was making smart brand decisions as he was rising, just like he was rising above the rim. So I do think there's a lot to connect there. And then if you do that, you got to connect it back to Ali because Jordan wouldn't have got there if Ali wasn't there before him as like, a singular individual who was kind of the center of the media universe beyond even the sports universe, him and Howard Cosell. And even before that, I think you got to go back to Ali. And from there, I think it's kind of free form. You can go a lot of different directions. You can go to Tiger, you can go to Serena, you can go to a lot of other basketball players have been the quote unquote heir apparent. Shout out to Harold Miner. But I don't know, where do you want to go?
Baby Jordan, wow, deep cut. And I do hope
Yes.
Bronny James or covers has a chance to play at USC for the folks that knew that Harold Miner did play for the Trojans.
And
but
let's
don't
get
count
those
this in.
defibrillators everywhere while we're at it.
100%. Well, it should be post what happened at
Mm.
LMU and Hank Gathers. So I would start going down thinking about individuals. And this is, for me, moments where I would pause to make sure I knew the game was going to come on. I was going to try to get a ticket or I was going to watch it on TV.
Yeah.
So this is a running list. Allen Iverson, 1995, 96 in Georgetown in college. Watching that team, Allen Iverson having an unbelievable freshman year. And
as a former
All-American.
NCAA basketball player, I do understand why you start there.
Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, 1998. McGuire hitting 70 home runs, Sosa 66. I was not watching full baseball, but I would pause to see, like I was tracking to see when St. Louis is playing the Cubs. You just watch.
I remember going to Shea Stadium to see McGuire hit batting practice.
Yep. And hey, they're cheating. Just put them in the hall. Stop. They're entertainers. So in every era, there's something that players were taking.
By the way, I am watching Muscles and Mayhem, the American Gladiators. It's pretty entertaining, but if you're talking steroids, you're talking that era, there's a good amount of that going on.
I also did Aaron Judge more recently. People were texting in New York. I was getting notes from New Yorkers whether or not he was going to beat Maris's record.
New York Yankee fans. For those of you listening, I am conveying a lot of non-verbally. So now you heard
Bonds. Barry Bonds, 2001 and 2004. He hit 35 balls into McCovey Cove. He was one of the most dominant hitters ever. I still remember in the summer waiting to see late, especially in the fall, if Barry Bonds is coming at the bat.
All-time great increase in hat size in the history of Major League Baseball.
So at least put his hats in the Hall of Fame. Can we at least do that? Hat size, different hat. Usain Bolt. In the Olympics.
Usain in the membrane.
200,
absolutely.
4x100. Serena, originally Serena versus Venus. And especially you'd watch Serena Venus, you want to see the sisters play, regardless of how it played out. And people are always frustrated because it wasn't a crazy back and forth. And Serena often would come out on top. But also Serena, more recently, as she was chasing Margaret Court, people you watch in the majors.
Also what Serena did around fashion and the experience, there are certainly some notes of Taylor Swift in what she was doing at center court, what she was doing at Arthur Ashe. Like she was definitely making it a scene, making it an experience to be there in the arena.
Yep. So what about U.S. women national team, soccer team? Were you trying to have any sort of watch party around the World Cup? Do you think that they've had an impact on soccer and fair pay across sports? So they lost. They were bounced in the round of 16. They did not look good.
They almost did a show about Rapinoe. I wouldn't put her in the category of Taylor Swift. I'd put her in the category of maybe more Kaepernick as like a lightning rod.
You typed her name into a text. That wasn't almost doing a show.
I was comparing her to Rodman, which I also thought is another interesting episode. And also because she plays with Rodman's daughter, or at least she played this round with Rodman's daughter. But yeah, I think it'd be a stretch to drop this team. I think when they first won in 99, the Mia Hamm team and the Brandy Chastain, putting sports bras on the map, that was right up there with the Taylor Swift experience. Yeah.
Michael Phelps must see. Remember,
you need the little
the
line.
Olympics.
He's so much faster than the imaginary line.
2008. You did not watch and see whether or not he could beat.
Well, it's like the same thing with Usain Bolt. I was mentioning, I literally turned on the World Championship during the men's final of the 100 meters. It was 3 seconds in.
I said
I
he
saw
missed
the last
he
7
missed the
seconds.
third of the
And,
race.
shout out to Noah Lyles.
You love the fact that he's crapping on the NBA because he says running is the only true world championship, and winning the NBA, they shouldn't
I
call
don't
themselves
that's
world
interesting. I
champion.
love the fact that USA track is back, baby, in some capacity. So track is back. But the thing that I have trouble with is like if the actual experience is 10 seconds long, maybe you get lucky when you turn it on the tube. But like that's a lot of setup. Same with Kentucky Derby. You get
I got a couple more, and I got
was Smarty Jones in your list? Probably not, right? Winning 2 out of 3, going to
no,
Belmont.
there was not. I did not
Yeah,
have
me neither.
Secretary because I just wasn't around. Like
Yeah,
Secretary would be the
yeah,
one that's must see
sure.
TV. Steph Curry, the 72 win Golden State Warriors team, and the 2015-2016. People still Steph Curry's must see TV. Doesn't have the same impact. It's still sorry must see
Yeah.
TV. What he's
Oh
doing in
yeah, the whole
golf, supporting the Howard golf team and contributing
right.
there to actually
He's
give
a
back
good
to that
dude.
team.
I definitely agree with that, the way he's running his brand and his company. But even going all the way back to Davidson, which we did do an episode on his, the phenom experience, like the rising kind of out of nowhere must see TV. He's the other guy where there's only so many people you get texted from friends, you got to turn this on. And
Yep.
that's been Steph. And have you mentioned Eldrick yet? Or are you
Hold on.
yeah,
Hold
okay.
on. Just pause. But by the way, you have to watch Underrated. It's Steph's
Mm.
documentary. Brian Coogler
Oh,
has
cool.
directed it. It really tracks his from actually getting recruited to Davidson. It's the only school
Yeah.
that's looking at him. It
Kugler
is
is
great
Wakanda
watch.
forever, right? Yeah, I did the
That's
salute
correct.
again for our listeners. I just wanted to make sure I was picking up your reference.
Fruitvale Nation, or
Fruitvale
station,
Station.
Fruitvale
Well, I mean,
Station.
because it was such a
Station.
phenomenon, we all became Fruitvale Nation at the time. I mean, come on.
So the undefeated Pats, which I hated, but 2007, 18-0 to lose to the Giants last second. So Tom Brady, that was
Yes, I remember that.
How about this is my last one. This is all part of me sitting at this concert. The Linsanity moment for a hot second, must see TV. Did you turn on to start to see what kids get to do? And then I also have Muhammad Ali.
Nice.
But the only person I kept coming back to this must see TV and has a similar phenomenon is Eldrick, Tiger.
Thank you.
When he started playing golf, there's about 24 million golfers. It rose to about 30 million golfers that are playing golf today. Purse size is about 101 million across the PGA. It's about 415 million across the PGA. Scotty Scheffler this year had one of the most dominant. Oh, I forgot, by the way, I had Simone Biles as well. Must see TV. For a hot second, Victor Hovland, you watched 2 of his tournaments because he got hot. I'm just saying, I was going through a list of must see, like you stop to see. You're not
I'm a brilliant editor. None of this will make it out, but it's fine.
Scotty Scheffler, golfer, had the 7th best scoring average this year, and the 1 through 6 is Tiger. So as I'm sitting there, and you're saying, is Taylor Swift like the Beatles, like Elvis? Yeah, absolutely. But people just continue to, they have to give Tiger his due. Every golfer now should think, and it's part of the reason they wanted Tiger to be on the board of the new PGA, Saudi, Live.
Not the leaderboard, the board of directors.
The board of directors. They should thank Tiger. He created it. It's the same way that Taylor's own economy. It's the same thing that Tiger has done for golf. The number of golfers that make post Tiger that were bank $1 million or more just by participating in the PGA Tour and holding that card, it grew substantially. So I went through must see TV because I like to watch athletes. I like to watch entertainers. You poo seeing Usain Bolt run for 9 seconds or 19.19 seconds in the 200. But to me, that's fantastic, fascinating. Sydney McLaughlin, new track star who I'll watch to see if she can win the hurdles. And now she's transitioning to 400 meter. But there's nothing like Tiger. And he cemented that in 2019 with the Masters win, which continued to bring more folks back into golf. That's the only, as I'm sitting there, lights on, decibel level high. That was the only one. Yes, I'm a Tiger homer. I wrote an ode to Tiger. I challenge you, think of someone else that in our lifetime that's had a similar impact and can be seen in the same light in the sports industry.
You got to give Jordan a nod. And then if you do Jordan, you got to go Ali. But yeah, I'm with you. And then the interesting question, I guess, maybe as we wrap up here is what about other media phenomena? How singular is she now? Like, I go, Oprah comes to mind where, she had more than a hot minute where she was, Miss Everything. There are other Seinfeld heated up. He had a nice run there in the early 90s, but there are people who do kind of catapult to the top of the media hype cycle. Beyonce's done it a few times. She's got some staying power now too. She's an interesting, maybe we'll need to do a follow-up after tonight's concert for you.
After I get off this call, I'm going to store to make sure I have my drips
But
tight.
but but music has a long history of this. And then similarly, maybe there have been some movie stars, Michael Jackson, obviously, when you think about musicians, but any other entertainers, anyone else you think we could peg her against? I brought the Beatles up. But anybody else as we cast a wider net who you think might be? I'll give you Tiger. I think he was kind of off the charts, and we put a nice cavalcade of awesome together in the world of sports. But anyone else jump to mind as we're wrapping up? I mean, clearly we are the Taylor Swift of lessons learned from sports podcasts. But anyone else jump to mind for you?
I only do sports.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Well, I'm trying to think if anybody crossed over out of sports and then became like a big media presence. I guess, LeBron is trying to do it too. LeBron more from a business perspective.
Vaughn's making a massive impact beyond the game, showing up in TV, documentaries, film, his own show, The Shop, so his own show. But
Peyton Manning's trying to do the same thing.
Not yet. The Manning cast, but I just think not yet. Olivia Dunn's trying to do it with her NIL dollars as the LSU.
It would have been interesting to see what Kobe would have done as a media presence.
Kobe had that path. I mean, he had already won a Grammy, Emmy, Oscar. Which one was it? Oscar.
I could see him doing a little, maybe Barry White. He had a deep voice and he's not really singing it, I don't know. But I feel like Kobe could have done some interesting stuff when you're talking about it, because there is the media experience, the must-see TV component, which is more what you were bringing. But the other element of Taylor Swift that's interesting, Beyonce's a good example, Jay-Z's another good example of folks who really are kind of managing a business presence, bringing that to the game. And that is something that I do think it's easy to miss how profound Jordan's influence was, kind of crossing over into mass media as an athlete.
Jordan still has staying power because of his brand. Shoes, that will always be something that continues to be.
He kind of did it
part
first
of our culture. He did it absolutely first. Tiger not playing as much anymore. Who knows how the Worry Tiger Golf League, Tech Infused Golf League will last. There's more money going into it, so it's possible to have some real staying power. I think it's hard, though. I've not seen many athletes be dominant on the field, ice, court, and then also then translate that into a totally new second career. It's just hard. So it's where your influence comes. So Taylor, the difference between a Taylor Swift and a Tiger is Father Time's undefeated. He's close to 50. And we may get excited to see him on the Champions Tour riding a cart, because that's basically what he needs now to continue to play. He'll still have golf design, and we'll see how the PGA looks with the new structure. Taylor's in her 30s. And so we have a group of individuals that grew up with her. My daughters are growing up with her. And I guess it forced me to pay attention to her in a way that forced me to go to a concert with a bunch of Swifties where I called it the Taylor Swift walk bounce. Everyone has the same walk bounce going down the aisles. Everyone's so happy. We will be talking about her for the next 20 years, 30 years.
And as we wrap up on Taylor, another experience that's out there that I did note, and I know you've been deeply embedded in this, is 92,000 attendees in Nebraska watching women's volleyball is another element, and that's tapping into kind of a similar demographic to what Taylor Swift is tapping into. Last thought on Taylor Swift, and maybe I'll allow you the final thoughts. Taylor Swift on ice? I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Whatever she comes up with, people will buy tickets, people will go see. And so kudos to her. I'm really looking forward to see Beyonce tonight. It's going to be a totally different experience. Beyonce will probably be full-time, dancing, all out. It'll be a spectacle. And so it'll be interesting to see the setup. I did get a chance to go to a Rams Bucks game, and then see Taylor Swift and the way she set up that stadium, which is crazy, the way that SoFi is, because it's buried like 100 feet down because of the flight path with LAX. And tonight will be a totally different vibe. So lucky, fortunate to be able to go see it. And it's just another all-world must-see performer, entertainer that we get to be around.
We're fortunate to be around must-see experiences. We're fortunate to be producing a must-listen experience here, running it back. We're back. Season 4 is happening. Tarlin, thanks as always for joining.
I hope Squadcast recorded this.
We'll be back soon. Thanks for listening.